Please wait a few minutes. We will start soon.
We'll start at 5:35. So welcome all to the day 4 of Weblist 2.0 session, and today we'll learn about how to manipulate DOM elements. So, as you know, JavaScript is used to add interactivity to the website. So, for that, we need to manipulate the elements present in it. So, let's learn how to do that. So, I'll create a basic HTML page right now. I'll add two elements and then I'll show you how you can manipulate them. So, first, I'll create a div element uh, which has a class of box and say hi. So I'll keep it as hi and I'll keep this one as by. I'll also give them two styles. I'll give them styles based on this, and it would be box. I'll give them a height, say 20 view height. I'll give them a width, say 20 view height, and uh, background color of red. Uh, and I'll give them a margin of 1 UI and I'll center the text. So it would be flex, display, flex, and justify items, center, align item, the content, and I'll give them like I'll color the text as white. So it would be, yeah, and so as you can see in HTML, this is a hierarchy of elements, right? There is one element, and inside that there is another element. So a tree is formed here. It forms a sort of tree. It looks like this. It looks like this. We have an HTML element, and inside that we have head. Inside that we also have body, and inside head we have title, link, and inside body I give two elements, two div elements, and I'll give them also ID of say box one and ID of box two. So suppose I want to grab this element. I want to grab the first element in JavaScript. Now, what is the property that is unique to this element? Like in this case, I've given two example, two div elements. But suppose there are multiple of them. What will be the thing that is unique to this? That would be the ID, because an ID is always unique to an element, right? So I can use this ID to get this element in JavaScript. So first I need to use the document object. The document object has this thing called get element by ID, right? So get element by ID, I give in the ID of the element that I want, and it will give me the element back. So in this case it would be box 1. I want the first element, so it would be box 1. This thing itself gives me the first element. Now I can store it in a variable, say hi, and when I do that, so basically the high variable represents this first element. Now, say I want to change the background color of this first element, I can do like high. I want to change the style of this, right? So high dot style dot background color equal to say blue. So when I save it, it will be blue. I can also change the text color. So the text color would be just color, and I can set it to, like, say I can give any hex value or any valid CSS color. It would be like red. So yeah, red color and blue background. Right. So this hierarchy is called document object model, or DOM for short. Uh, Suppose if I want to get elements by their classes. Suppose I want to get the elements that have a class name box. So, like as you know, classes are not unique to elements, right? Multiple elements can have the same class. So, if I get elements by this class, it will give me an array. It should give me an array because there are multiple of them. So if I'll say this to revert this back, and say I want to get elements with the name with the class box. So document dot get elements by class name, and I'll give the class name, so box. This will give me an array. Like it's not exactly an array, but it's close to one. So this will give me a list of the elements with the class box in it. So I can store it inside something like boxes. Now I can this like I can treat this as a list. So I can do for let I equal to 0, I less than boxes dot length I plus plus, and say I want to give the second element blue background. So if I equal to 1, why I equal to 1? Because it is like in arrays, indexing starts from 0. So this one is 0, this has an index of 0, this has an index of 1. So I equal to 0 boxes I dot style dot background color equal to green. Yeah. So This one turns green because it is in the it has an index 1. Now say you want to give you want to get elements by like suppose there are multiple classes and you want to get elements with certain classes, like not just one class, like get elements by class name gives you like allows you to give just one class name. Suppose if you want to get them from multiple class names, uh, I'll add a element inside here. Say, give it an ID box 3, give it something like height 2, and high 2 and by. So, if I want to get an element with the class name with both the classes box and high. So what do I do that? I can use a something called query selector. So document dot query selector, and I'll write the query. Now, query is just basically a CSS query. If I want to style this element in CSS, I'll write dot high dot box. So it will search for any element that has classes high and box. So the thing is, query selector just gives me the first element that matches this query string. So this in this case, it will give me this element, this high first element. So let's say I give it a value high, and I change the uh, background color to blue. Right. So I change the background color to blue. Suppose if you want all of the elements that satisfies this query. So here we have two of them, right? So here we have the first and the second element. In that case, we can use query selector all. So what it does, it gives a list. Again, a list is close to array, but not exactly equal to it. You don't have to think much about the difference. You'll learn it later as you learn more about data structures and a bit depth into JavaScript. But for now, just take it as something that is almost an array, but not exactly that. Uh, so in this case, I will get a list of all elements that satisfies this query. So I'll have these two elements. So again, for let I equal to 0, I less than, and here I can write something like his dot I dot style dot color equal to yellow. So it will iterate to this and turn the text color into yellow for both of them, like this. So it turns yellow, right? You can also, like, suppose if you have a style of like you give a style to a class, say something like a bar. So you can give a style of like height as 30 view height, right? If I gave this style to some a class called bar, now if I can add this class bar inside an element through JavaScript. So suppose I want to add this bar class to the first element, this element high. So I can get this element by whatever means that we have learned till now. We can get this element. So I'll take it through document dot get element by ID box 1. Right. So I got this element and I can add a class called bar to it. So I can add it through high dot class list. So this will give me a list of all the classes. I can add a class to it using dot add, and I can write the name of the class. Right. So as you can see, the first element has its height as 30 view height. All right. You can also remove an existing class. Say I can remove the class called box. Now, if I remove the class called box, as you can see from the CSS, if I remove it, it will be nothing. Like the style of high would be nothing, right? So if I add this, remove class box. So if I remove the class called box, as you can see, It has no style. It is just a text. It is just an empty div element. Like it is a div element with the text as high. I can also toggle the classes. So what does toggle mean? Suppose if it is like this, right? It is like this. Suppose if I don't have a class called box, if I toggle it, toggle the class called high, toggle the class called box, then if it doesn't have the class, then it will add the class, and if it has the class, it will remove the class. So in this case, say like I show you. Let's take it as height document dot get elements by class name hi. Right. So here I got these two elements, the first and the second element. Now the first element has a like the first element doesn't have the class called box. The second element has a class called box. So I can toggle this. Say for uh, let I equal to 0, I'll is the is dot length I I plus plus and here's dot I dot class list dot toggle, and I can toggle the class called box. So what will happen now is the first element will get the style and the second element will not get the style. So it would be like this, right? Because the first element doesn't have the class called box, so it will add the class, and the second element has the class called box, so it will remove the class. So that's all from my side. Now Pratik will take you through events and callbacks and Tom tree traversal. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. Sorry, am I audible?
Yeah.
So okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
So now Saurav told you about how to select a particular element from the web page document. So now let's learn how to traverse through all the elements in the web page and uh, create elements, how to append some new elements to existing HTML documents. Then we will learn more about events. I will tell what events in JavaScript are. Then we will and wrap it with some how to manipulate some events in JavaScript and is in HTML using JavaScript. So let's start. So as sort of told you about the hierarchy of the web page, like it has a hierarchy, like it forms a tree structure. So like the root element is HTML, then we have two children of the same element like HTML. We have two children like head and body. Then in body we can have more children like a tag, h1, etc. So this is the basically the structure of a complete HTML document. So there are some terms you must know, like parents, siblings, and children. Suppose you have selected the tag like div tag, then like how Saurav told you how to select the tag. So if you have selected this div tag, then the tag wrapping this tag will be its parents. We write div tag inside the body tag. So that body tag will be its parents, and if inside div tag we have some image h1 etc other tags, that will be its children. So the adjacent tags to div will be called its siblings. So okay, so let's start by making a file. Let's create a simple file, give it it's okay. First let's open with live server. So let's give it a title of So I have to write it a title, uh, then a body tag with suppose div div having an h1 tag as hello world. Suppose I also have a paragraph of codes. So now let's link a JavaScript file to it. Let's first make a file. Um, to link it, we will use a script tag with source as file name. So check whether the script tag is loaded properly. We can go to the console and suppose I console log something like hello. So yes, the script tag is loaded successfully. Then let's create a style sheet and again link with the HTML page. And to check whether the style sheet is loaded, let's give a background color to the body as suppose red. So yes, the style sheet also loaded successfully. So suppose I select this h1 tag. Okay, this sort of told you how to select. So let's use query selector. Since there is only one h1 tag, though this h1 tag will be selected. And suppose h1, okay, it's high, it's h1 tag. Okay. Now let's print its parent. So you can see in the HTML file that the parent is this div tag. Okay. So first let's console log the element. You can see it's the h1 tag. It has many properties. We will get class list, etc. Inner text. What's the text? Hello world. The text is hello world, etc. So this is the element. So if we console log the parent, so we'll see the parent is this div. You can see here. Okay. So you can see that the wrapping element to this h1 is this div. So the parent is div, as I told you. Now this adjacent tag para tag will be its sibling. So let's console log that. Next element sibling. So you can see this para tag is the sibling. So that's the DOM hierarchy, DOM structure. Now let's learn how we can create a new element. Okay. So suppose I want to add a section element here. Okay, with uh, with text suppose HTML. So I want to create this element using JavaScript. Okay, I will cut it from here. Now in the JavaScript, first let's create the element. Okay. So to create the element, we will use a method attached to the document object called create element, and we want to create a section element. So write section. So in here, I've given the section element has must have that text as HTML. So to add text, we will write inner text as HTML, suppose. So now I've created the element. Okay. Also add style to it. Suppose as sort of style. Suppose I want to give color as purple. Okay. So the element is now created, but how the JavaScript will know that where to append the element in the HTML? So first we will see, I want that element to be appended here. Okay, so to append an element, there are two methods available to us. There's simple append method and append children. Okay, so first I'll show you the append method. First, let's select this h1 tag. To select the h1 tag, use document dot query selector one. Then the h1 tag is selected. Now we will use the method append. So we want to append this element, this section element below that. The append will add the element directly below the selected element, this h1. Okay, the element I want to append. So you can see here the element is appended. Okay, so it has the given style and inner text, etc. Now what does append child do? So this is a div element. Okay, I want to append it inside this div element. Not so you have seen that I've selected the h1 element. Then when we append to h1, it's appended just below it, not inside this h1 tag. So to if we want to append it inside this div tag, we will use that we will use the uh, append child element, append child method. Okay, so I have selected the div element. Now div element dot append child. Okay, and we add that element. So you can see this HTML is appended inside this div element, here inside this, below this, at the very end. Okay, so these are the methods to append. So now let's see how we can remove elements. Suppose I want to remove this paragraph. So first we select the paragraph, document dot query selector paragraph. So to remove it, we simply have the method remove attached to it. So if we remove it, that JavaScript will be removed. Okay, so the simple one. Now, if let's learn about events. Okay, so what are events in JavaScript? In terms of web development, events are the actions or consequences which happen to HTML elements when you react to from JS accordingly. Suppose I want something to happen when okay, suppose there is a button. Okay, let's clear the JavaScript file. So I want something to happen when we click on it. Okay, so that if that action that happens on a particular event is we can manipulate it using the JavaScript. Do you know about the game 2024 game, 2048 game? Uh, so here we have to collect, like make this combine together and make it as 2048. Okay, so when I use the arrow buttons, so these elements move accordingly. Okay, so this is done using events. Okay, that when we will press right arrow, the blocks will move right side to the right side. When I will press up arrow, the blocks will move up. So that's event, and you manipulate it using JavaScript. Okay, so suppose I want to console something when anyone clicks on it. Okay, so first we have to select the button as usual. Button. So next we want something to happen when someone clicks on it. So there is a method available to this element, that is add event listener. Okay. Um, and we want to listen to an event clicked. There are many events you can see here. The blur event, click event, change event, close, etc. There are many events. Double click. This is DBL click means double click, drag. So there are lots of events where we can react to. Okay. So suppose we want to react to a click event on this button. So first we will write the type of event we want to react to. Then we will add a callback function to it. So what is a callback function? Callback function are functions that are passed on to another function. See, this is a function. Okay, this is a function. So we are passing another function to it. We add a function to it that will be invoked when something happens to, when some particular event is triggered. So I'm reacting to this click event. So the function I will pass here will be triggered when when we will be clicking on this button. So let's write the function. So just let's console log the something I have. So when I click here, you can see it's console logged. If I again clicked, so Chrome, what the browser does is combines them together, and you can see it has logged 2 times. So like this, the number of times you click, it will be console logged each time. So this is how we react to a particular event. So um, we can also use arrow functions in place of it. You have learned about arrow functions yesterday. So say it will work in a similar way. If you console hello, so same. So let's listen to another event like double click. So let's do the same thing. So if you click once, it will not be consoled. Okay, it will be only listen to a double click event. Okay, when if I'm clicking 2 times, uh, see I've double clicked it. So then it will be consoled. So this is how events work in JavaScript. Um, so let's learn something about another kind of events called keyboard events. So suppose I have an input here, input element. I don't need all this. Suppose I'm writing something. Okay, I want something to happen only when I press enter. Okay. Um, so suppose first as usual we have to select the element. I've selected the input element. Now I write add event listener. I want to react to an event whenever I press a key. So that event is called key press, key press or key down. So let's listen to a key down event. So in this callback function, we get the JavaScript provides an object called an event object. Okay, so let's take that object and see what's inside that event object. Okay, so let's console log the event object. So whenever I will press the key, that event will be triggered, and this callback function will run. That callback function takes an event object which is passed on by JavaScript, and I'm consoling it out. So see, I pressed F, then see this is the event object. Okay, this keyboard event. So you can see what the code of the key I pressed, key F, that key, that what is the key, that is the key code, etc. So this is very helpful. Okay, so if we want something to happen only when I press enter, so that would be very helpful. So let's press enter. So you can see I press enter. Then for enter, the you can see the key property is equal to this key property is enter. So I can user if else block here. If the e dot key is okay, it's not necessary that you name this e. I'm giving it giving the name e. So you can write any function because it's just a parameter which is passed on by JavaScript. So let's write event. So suppose I want to react to enter key. So I will write when the event the key of the event is equal to enter. Then I want suppose alert. Okay. So I'm writing other keys, I mean other words, letters. But when I press enter, so see, it's alerting here. And that is reacting to the enter event. So this is very helpful in making games. Suppose you want to move certain character to a particular position based on your key presses, then this is very helpful. So also there are mouse events. Suppose you want to listen to the mouse events in the entire screen. Okay, so what you can do is you can listen to the mouse events in the topmost element. Suppose we listen to it in the body. So first let's select the body element. I'm selecting the body element. Then I'm adding a event listener to it. Mouse. Suppose uh, I listen to the mouse over event. Means whenever we will move the mouse in the body is basically the entire page. Okay. So then I want something. Suppose I again want to console log what's the event object here. Okay. So uh, console log event. So see, I'm moving the mouse and it's consoling it out. So there are many things here. We can get the position where position where the mouse was at that moment, x and y, the coordinates, etc. So this is also very helpful in game development and all using JavaScripts. So that's all about events. So okay, there are another kind of events, form events. Like all of you have submitted some kind of forms in any web pages. So when suppose you send the form, okay, submit the form. So we need the form data, right? Though what the user has entered. So suppose I create a form here. You don't need the action right now. Suppose I give an input text and a button type, suppose submit. Um, so I am created this form. So suppose I've entered. Suppose just you have to write your name here. So when I submit, I don't get the data. And also when you submit the form, it actually sends a request to a backend actually. But you will learn about them in future classes of GTSC. And so we don't need it right now, but suppose we just want to console out what was inputted here, and also we don't want to refresh the page. Okay, this is a really bad user experience that you refresh the page when the form is submitted. Since the form submits it to the backend, so it refreshes the page, so but you don't want it. So let's see what we can do. So first let's select the form. So that's the form. I've selected it. Now let's listen to a another kind of event on form, uh, that is on that is submit event. So let's listen to it. So let's get the event object and console it again as usual. So so when I type something, it will not console it, but only when I submit the form, it will get consoled here. But see, since the web page is getting refreshed, so we don't see the console log. The console log is also refreshed. So, but we don't want that behavior. So what we can do is there is a function basically the attached to the event object that's called prevent default, which prevents this default behavior of the form. So when I run this function, see when I write anything, my name, and I submit, the form is not submitted. Means the web page is not refreshed, and the since the web page is not refreshed, the input also stays right here, and we also get the console log of the event. So let's see what's in there. So you see there are other properties, etc. But we are interested in this target field. Okay, in the target there is an input field where you can get the value of this input. Okay, what was the value? So let's get it. Let's console log the value. Let's see what the event dot target is. Okay, again let's submit the form. Just wait a minute. Sorry for that. So see the target is this form, but I need what's inside this input field. Okay, so get what's inside the input field. Uh, so we need to select this input field, and let's console log the input element dot inner text. So inner text property is also used to modify it, and also you can read what's there. Okay, so let's again write the name and let's submit it. Oh, wait a minute. The that actually the property is inner HTML input field. Okay, the input field I need inner text. So since the web page is refreshed, it should get the. It's not outputting anything. So okay, we need the format. You can also read the submit event on the input, and that we will get the. We will get e dot target. The target will be that input element, and we can get the value here. Hmm, it's refreshing again, but I don't want that behavior. Uh, Sorry for that. Just wait a minute. Hmm. Event default is for that default behavior, and okay, there is a input value property on that input element too. I think that's the thing we want. The value, yes, that's the yes, We want the value property. Okay, sorry. The input has a value field. See, in input HTML, we can also give a default value to it. Suppose we want the default value to be, suppose, name. So basically, it will be having a value name. The and we want that value when value when we submit it. Okay. So in submit, if we write that, then the value we will get is this. Okay, that's the thing. So that's the thing we want in a form submission. So that's all about events and all. This prevent default is for preventing the default behavior of the form. The default behavior is that it will refresh the web page and send the request to the backend, but don't want that right now. So the last topic for today's discussion is event bubbling. But what is event bubbling? So let's show you. Suppose we have a div here, and inside the div we have a span element with the value. So let's clear the HTML, JavaScript. Okay, so let's give some styling to the div. Div we give a height as 50 view height, with as 50 view height, and background color as red. That's a div right there. And see. So let's give some style to the span too. Height, suppose 25 view height, and width 25 view height, and background color of yellow. Okay. So span is a inline element. I want it to be a block element to give a height and width. So let's center it using display. Let's justify content center and align item. Center. Okay, so that's it's centered. Now suppose I click on this. So here you can see this span tag is inside this div tag. What will happen if I add a click listener to this span tag, and also a click listener to this div tag? Which one will which function will get triggered? Okay, so let's check it. So let's select both of them. Let's first select the div element. Document dot query selector div, then const span element. Let's document dot query selector span. Okay, I've selected both the elements. Now suppose we add a click listener to both of them. First we add the click listener to this outer div. Suppose I don't want the event right now. I just want to show you one thing. Console, let console log div element. Okay, so if I click here, a div element. Okay, now if I add same as span element, and here let's console here span element. So what will happen if I click on this span element? Will it trigger the click event of the outer element or not? Let's check. Yes. So what happens is the events get bubbled. So here you can see. Suppose I have a click listener to this event, this button one. Okay, this element of ID button one. So what will happen? It will bubble the event till the root. The root is this document window, etc. So it will get captured by each of them. If we write, if I write, if I also see the body, so the event is bubbling through here to here. It will also bubble till the end, to till the HTML. Okay. So also, let's check here. So let's select the body tag also. Body, body. So and we add a click listener to that too. We write here body. Okay. So if I click here, see the it's bubbling till the end. It will bubble till the end, till the top level. So, but to prevent this behavior, what we can do is, see, I can add the, we can stop the bubbling at this stage. Okay. To stop the bubbling at this stage, we can take the event object here, and there is another method at the event object, event, event object, that is stop propagation. Okay. So what will happen if it will stop propagation till the body element? Okay. But if I want an immediate stop, means I don't want to bubble the event outside this element. Okay. Okay, so this span element is here. Okay, I want this. Okay, see, you can see the I've added the event in the div element, so it's stopping the propagation till the div element, so the till here. So the body, the click listener to the body is not triggered because it's stopping at the div stage. So if I want to stop at the span stage, then same we can do here. There's a event dot stop propagation. So if I click here, so it will be just it will just don't propagate till the end, till the root. So that's all for today's session. So now there will be for project submission, etc. In the web Facebook group. So please keep checking the Facebook page. So on submission of the project, you will get a certificate. So you will get a time. You will get 1 week gap to submit the project. So you will get all the updates in the Facebook group. So keep checking the group. So thank you all, and if you have any doubt, please ask in the chat section. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the mate, or you can ask your doubt in the chat section, or you can reach out to any of us through Facebook or WhatsApp or anything. We will help you out.